It used to be the Organization of the African Unity, and now the African Union. So slowly but surely, we're working towards political unification, and then we're working towards economic unification. Okay, where we're all going to be one. We're going to be integrated. We're going to have a one government, one currency, one army. One defense policy, one foreign policy, and so on and so forth. Okay, indeed, that was a dream of the founding fathers of the African countries, from the Robert Mugabe's, to Kenneth Kaunda, to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and so on and so forth. You know, so that's what we've worked for, and you know, I really respect and think highly of Nelson Mandela in terms of his values. He stood for peace. Okay, he stood for unity, and it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this situation. I understand that South Africa is overwhelmed, but let's find a common ground. Okay, let's learn to love one another. Let's learn to appreciate each other's differences. Let's choose the path of peace. So I'm respectfully appealing with South Africans to say that please, 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 we're one people, you know, with one destiny. Your fellow Africans are your brothers and sisters. Driving them out of the country is not the way forward, okay? Because from what I gather, you're not making any distinction between them. There's migrants who are legal and those who are not, legal, because of the fact that you just want them out, okay? I think the South Africans, have to, bear in mind that some of these migrants have got children with South Africans, okay? And those children were born in South Africa. So they are therefore South African citizens. So I'm pleading with you, with the greatest of respect to yourselves, please, please, let's all learn to live in peace and harmony, okay? Indeed, Ghana, for example, I know has always had an open door policy, wanting to welcome people from all over the world. Indeed, Ghana has passed a law which gives everyone a right to reside in that country, so long as you're of African origin. Okay, so long, whether you're Caribbean, you're African American, or you're from continental African, from the African continent, you can move to Ghana, and you just go through a due process, and you can live in the country. It's backed by law. Okay, and there are South Africans that live in Ghana. There are South African companies that operate in Ghana. Okay, and Ghanaians love South Africans. And so just like in Ghana, we love everyone. Okay, you'll find you know whether you're white or you're black, Ghanaians love everyone. We're a very God-fearing Christian nation. Okay, and very hospitable. Okay, and that's the true nature of Africans anyway, regardless of where you're from. You know, from what I can see all over the African continent, if you go to Kenya, they're very welcoming. If you go to Uganda, they're very welcoming. If you go to Rwanda, they're very welcoming. If you go to Nigeria, they're very welcoming. If you go to Ivory Coast, they're very welcoming. And that's Africans by nature are very hospitable people. Okay. Zimbabwe, they're very welcoming everyone. So I know that what South Africa is dealing with in terms of the numbers of migration into South Africa is not quite the same, okay, as the other countries, okay. But aren't Zimbabweans and South Africans the same people? Don't you all speak, is it Shona or something? So there are people, the same group of people, okay, you'll find them in Zimbabwe and you find them in South Africa, okay. If you go to Togo, there are people from the Volta region who speak the same language, you know, in Togo, and they're in Ghana, and they also speak the same language. If you go to the western part of Ghana, you're going to find the same thing. You know, The same group split between two countries. Okay, so are we not all the same people? Okay, indeed, the first president of Ghana married an Egyptian. So the first lady of Ghana was Egyptian, Fatai Nkrumah, because Nkrumah was so, he was so desperate to unify Africa because he believed Africa did not have a chance on this earth until it was unified. And look at the state of the African countries today. The longest serving president of Ghana, Jerry Rawlings, was half Scottish from Scotland and half Ghanaian. His mother was from Ghana of Togolese descent. Okay. And so the Ghana model for me is fantastic. It welcomes everyone from every part of the world. Okay. Because that's our nature and that's the true nature of the African. Okay. And I believe that's the true nature of South Africa. Except that because of the situation that South Africa finds itself in terms of numbers of immigrants coming into South Africa, South Africans feel overwhelmed. But on the whole, I believe that South Africans are very kind people, okay? Very welcoming and very loving and very respectful people, very decent people, okay? And this is just a humble appeal with the greatest respect to the South Africans to be more kinder to, their fellow Africans, there's no place like home, and I know they would like to stay on their homelands, but then they're in very great distress, and that's why they've immigrated to, your country, and which they call home. Where is home? Home is where the heart is. So please let them feel at home. Okay. Um, I wish the illegal immigrants could be granted some amnesty because if they could afford to go through the due process, they probably would, file their proper documentation so they can live in South Africa or where else, or wherever else they can live, And so please, I'm just going to end the video here. Let me say that uh, in conclusion, I would like to re-emphasize the fact that I don't believe that South Africans are xenophobic. I believe they are one of the most nicest people you can ever find. They're very kind, very caring, and very loving people. Okay, and South Africans, I know that the Ghanaian people love South Africans very much, and our presidents have a very cordial relationship with South Africa, um, and the South African president as well, I believe, has a very cordial relationship with the Ghanaian president. So yeah, let's all live in peace, regardless of where you're from, um, and let's focus more on the unification of Africa. Once upon a time, we were a united group of people until the colonization and these artificial borders were put in place. Because if we want to have a voice on the global stage, then unification is the way forward, and any actions on our part that creates divisions and disunity sets us back. Okay, thanks for listening. I'm very grateful for your time. Please like and share this video. Okay, and please subscribe as well. Thank you and God bless. Okay, bye bye.